Hi, recently here at InduSoft, we've had some requests on how you can generate your own symbols or use our existing symbol libraries. So what I'd like to show you is a couple of different ways that our symbol libraries are used. The first thing I'm going to do here is open up our symbol library. So I've created a screen called Symbols, and I put some stuff here just to get started, show you some of the different libraries that we have. Here's some lights and switches, and I'm going to bring this into play a little bit later on. But built here into the help system, we'll talk about in a second, but I'm going to bring this up. Here's just some text that I've placed on the screen to show you or reference some of the stuff that I'm going to show you here in the help in a moment. But until then, let's take a look at the symbol libraries. I'm going to double click on this. And you can see here built into InduSoft Web Studio, we have some symbol libraries. Now, I'm working on some different symbols, and I have some that I've created for other projects. So not all of these will be in your symbols folder, but certainly here under buttons, you'll see that we can open up Calculator or Database Spy or the Exit button. And you can just plop that on the screen, and when the user presses that, it will prompt them if they want to shut down the application or not. Here's Logon for security. You can open up Notepad, default web browser, things like that. So here's some buttons. We also have, for example, in recent versions of version 7 with service packs, we have some pilot lights. We've also added some different plates so that you can put your own symbols together. We've added some push buttons. Switches are a bigger one that we've added, so there's a 2 and a 3 position selector switch. You can see there's quite a few different switches here. What I'm going to do is start with slider, and this is an existing symbol library that we have. I'm going to grab slider 1 here out of the library and place it on the screen. Now what this has done is grab this from this symbol library. This is your global system symbols, and it's placed it in my project. And once I've placed this in my project, it's now added it to, and you can see I have a few other ones that I've here. It's added it into my project symbols. This is done because this slider now references the one in my project symbol library as opposed to the global one. So if I make any changes to that, I don't destroy the global one. You can add and create your own and then move them into the global one if you would like, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later on in this video. One of the more important points about how symbols work is, for example, the linking aspect of it. In this case, I'm going to tie this symbol. You can see the property and the values here. I'm going to tie this symbol to a tag name called temperature and say yes, and make that an integer value. And I'm going to copy this and change this one to a tag name called pressure. Now, once I have these two created, they are both referencing the slider 1 in the project symbol library. And if I wanted to make a change to this, let's say I wanted to change the color of this background, it references the design of this in the project symbol library. So what I can do here is right-click on this symbol and edit the linked symbol here. Now this will open up a different editor. This is not the screen editor that I was working on. This is a symbol editor. So here, this one happens to be grouped, so I'm going to ungroup it. And I know that this right here, this rectangle is this gray inset rectangle here. So what I'm going to do is double click on that and edit the properties and change the fill color to something that you can very much see here. So we'll just make it red. And when I save this and close this, if you remember, I just did the 1, and this is prompting me that says that I have to save my screens before this will take effect, and I can check this to not see this message again. But once I do this, if you remember, I just did this 1, and now all the symbols that are referencing that slider 1 throughout the entire project would be changed to this color. So that's part of the linking aspect of this. Now another aspect of this is this custom properties window. For example, if I was to just draw, let's say, a rectangle and look at the properties of this and maybe apply a position animation to it, you can see the different properties windows here and how I have this drop down for rectangles and other animations. Whereas the symbol libraries have this custom property and value columns, And in this custom property area here, I can define these using this format. So let me go into the help system real quick just to show you where this is. So here under help, I click on the help here and go to screens and graphics, using screen objects, libraries, symbols, and then saving your own project symbols. I'm going to scroll down here, and this shows you some steps how to create your own symbols. And what I wanted to point out down here is if you are working with your own symbol libraries, you can use this format. Now this is what I have on the screen, so we don't have to memorize this or write this down, or in this case it's in the help. But category is optional. Property is a label to identify the property, and value is optional, default value for the property. So let's take a look at these particular symbols. If I open this slider, you can see the min, max, and tag name properties here, and the default values 0, 100, and I don't know if you remember, but when I first entered this, this was empty here. Now, if I edit this linked symbol, go back in here and take, for example, just this little handle part, this little slider part, you can see here that I'm using that naming convention, that pound sign, the property, a colon, and the colon is necessary even if you have the default value as blank. And here's min, pound sign min, colon 0, pound sign max, colon 100. And let me close this and show you where those come into play. I won't save that. But that is what defines this here. So the pound sign max, colon 100, the pound sign min, colon 0, and the pound sign tag name, colon without anything, defined this properties drop down here. Now I could use the category and define a category in here. I'm not going to do that for this video. But let's go create our own slider. So what I've done before I started this video is I made these individual lines here just so I'd have a scale. So I'm going to go ahead and group these. And these are just individual black lines. There's nothing special about them. I'm just going to group them so they'll be easy to grab in a moment. What I'm going to do is grab a rounded rectangle and give an approximate size to this. Do something like this. Grab my scale here. And again, these are just black lines. And since those are behind there, I'm going to push this to the back or send to back. Now I have my scale there. Let's change this rounded rectangle. Let's maybe make this a little bit different color here. I'll go from a, let's say we'll do a fill effect here, and we'll go from a light gray, change this to a diagonal, a little bit of an aspect here, a little shiny aspect. And then what I'll do is take my graphics and I'll put a button here. Now it doesn't have to be a button, but it has to be an object that can have the position animation applied to it. In this case the button does. And I'm going to remove the text in there and just use the button itself. So now take a look here. I've positioned this button here and I'm going to eventually slide this up here. So if I take a look, when I click on the button, my Y position is 320 here. And I'm going to slide that up to where I want that to finish. And here it is at 120. So that tells me it's 200 pixels above where it was down here. So what I want to do is now apply a position animation to this. So here on the graphics tab, I can go to position. And once I have that position animation applied, I can go here to the vertical tag expression. Here I'm going to enter that same format. We'll call this pound sign tag, and let's change this to pound sign my tag just to make it a little bit different. And in the value range, if we want to default this from 0 to 100, we could use that same concept. So we'll do pound sign min, colon 0, pound sign max, colon 100. And here in the position, I know that that's going to be 200 pixels, but we have to remember that this is 200 pixels upward, which in InduSoft Web Studio, with the upper left-hand corner being 0, 0, and increasing X in this direction and increasing Y down direction, I can make this negative 200 pixels so that it goes upward. I also need to click on this and make this a slider. So that will allow me to grab that during runtime and make that an input type device. So I have pound sign my tag. Guess what? I need a colon here. I have pound sign min, colon 0, pound sign max, colon 100, 0 to negative 200, and make that a slider. And I'm going to copy this because I know I'm going to use this here in a second. So I'm just going to highlight that, hit Control C, and copy that. Now, in addition to this, I want to show the value below here. So here's what I'm going to do is put some text, and I'll put some pound signs. And now I would probably center this up and spend a little bit more time formatting this, but I'm going to put a text data link on this and put that my tag there. And I'm not going to check the my input or not going to check the input enabled, so I won't have any input there, but the slider will be the input. And another option that I'm going to put here is some text up at the top, and we'll put some pound signs that maybe we would want to show what this is displaying, or put some kind of label up here. Notice this text has some extra space here. This is because this is a variable width font. So what I'm going to do is set this to align to center, and it'll take that kind of formatting and help that out a little bit. In addition to that, I'm going to put the text data link in here, and I'm going to put the, I'll say, pound sign label, colon, and then in quotes, double quotes, we'll put label. And another thing that we can do is let's take a look at the range that we had here from min and max. So what I'll do is put some pound signs here, and maybe I want to keep some placeholders. This all depends on how you would want to do it. Keep some placeholders here for maybe 4 different characters, so 0 to maybe up to 9,999. And what I'm going to do here is put keep the caption, but the text data link that will be here is that same pound sign min colon 0. And then I'm going to copy this up towards the top here and make this pound sign max colon 100. So now what I could do is put another data display in here that's maybe midway through and do some math on this. It would be pound sign max colon 100, or colon 100 minus pound sign min colon 100, divided by 2, or whatever half of this is, so I can see the mid-range point. It would automatically scale as I adjusted those properties. So now that I have this, I have my tag, my min and max, I have label up here, and I have my value that I'll show here. Once I've done this, I can window around this, and now all those objects are selected. I can right-click and say Create Linked Symbol. Now this is going to allow me to save this in my projects symbol library. So I'm going to put this in my sliders, and I'm just going to give this a name of my slider. And I might want to say this is my slider 1, because who knows, I might make a bunch of these different sliders with different colors and different feature sets. So now when we double click on this, we can see that it has the label, the min and max, and the my tag, which has no default value. Maybe I want to make this temperature. That will come up here in the top. The min and max, the my tag, we'll call this temperature. That'll go to that tag that I created a few minutes ago when I pulled the other sliders up. And now we have a working slider, we hope. Let's give it a try. Let's close this, run our project, and see what we get here. So when we run this, we have a slider that goes from 0 to 100, and what I might do is spend some more time formatting this, getting to some right sizes, and formatting the decimal digits in here. And I just copied this one down here, so that's why it doesn't show 50 in here. I didn't put any of the math on there. What I might also do is spend a little bit of time setting up some formatting for these numbers, and maybe changing of some colors as things go up and down. Let's take a look to see how these switches and lights were built here. I'm going to get out of this application and come back into the development portion of this. And I'm going to edit this light here. Now this light, when I look at its properties, only has one tag called tag state. And we've set that to blink slow in the library so that it shows up better in the library and you can see what it's doing. Instead of double-clicking on it, getting the properties, if I right-click on it, and go to Edit Linked Symbol, you can see here that this symbol is actually comprised of, let me click off and then click back on. It's actually comprised of two different graphics. Now we've developed these graphics in an external graphic editor and just imported these or pasted these in from an external graphic editor so that we have an off condition and an on condition. And when we did this, we put the # tag state colon, and then we put blink slow in here. And then in this one, we put tag state blink slow equals 1, and this way that it shows when it's on or off, so you can see those different formats. So you could do this with either just circles that you've drawn in InduSoft Web Studio, or bring in bitmaps or paste in bitmaps from other graphics editors. In this case, we happen to have set the transparent color on this, which is white. If I uncheck this, you can see that there is, let me put this one in front of the other one. You can see that there's actually a white rectangle around this. When we pasted this bitmap in, we set the transparent color to white, and we move this little handle around to choose the white outline around this, and that's how we got that to go transparent. Then we put these on top of each other, configured the properties, and saved this to our library. I'm going to say no so I don't accidentally run my library. In this one, very similar way, I'm going to edit the linked symbol. And you can see here this is comprised of one of the plates that we have in the symbol library and a switch that's in the up position and the down position. And very similar to the lamp that I just showed you, we have the on condition and the off condition for these graphics, and they just happen to be lined up on top of each other. So we've shown some of the existing symbols, shown how to link, shown how to create a new slider. Something else that might be important to you, once I have this set as a symbol, what we can do with this is unlink the linked symbol. So let's say you have one of our symbols from our library. So let's do this. Let's go in here, take the slider 1, and it says I already have it. Do you want to overwrite it because it's already in my library here, and I had edited it before. That's okay for now. I'm going to right-click on this and unlink this linked symbol. And once I've done that, this is still grouped. I can ungroup it and explode it into its individual components that you can see here. This is actually a bitmap, and it has transparency set on it, and it has position on it, and it goes 0 to -100. It's also a slider, so you can see that. You can also see how these were built, and that allows you to explode individual symbols and see how they were built without editing them or without damaging this. So that is a possibility of how you can look at that. Another opportunity, and let me grab a symbol, delete these. Let me grab a symbol from the library that I created a while ago. Now this is not in your libraries, but this is something that I've been working on. Now this particular symbol is a 7-segment display, and if I edit this one, so I'm going to edit this linked symbol and just grab this individual polygon that's up here and see the logic that's in here. I'm doing some OR statements. Let me go all the way back to the beginning. So if the tag name equals 0 or 2 or 3 or 5, and so on and so forth, this individual segment will show up on the 7-segment display. And different from that is this segment, 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. But it doesn't show up all the time. It only shows up for, excuse me, for certain numbers. But another reason why I wanted to show you this one is in the symbol properties, here you have something called Use Linked Size. And if I uncheck this, I can actually grab this symbol and expand this and make it larger. Now I can do this on nearly any symbol that we have, but some work better than others. So for example, this switch, if I uncheck this, then expand this, some of the graphics may get blurry. You may see some pixelation depending on how this was brought in. But one of the more important points to note, specifically symbols that use position and maybe other animations, if you uncheck the Use Link Size, this position is going specifically 200 pixels when we create it. And if you expand that, then this slider will still only go 200 pixels and it won't go full scale. So that is not dynamic enough to figure that out if you scale that. So particularly animations with position won't allow you to scale. But like this one, and maybe even this switch, if you wanted to change their size, you can do that. Something else to bring up is how can I then take this symbol that I've created and put it into my system symbols? Well, I put that My Slider here under Project Symbols. I can right-click on that and send to System Symbols. So if I send that to my System Symbols, I get to pick which of the folders it goes in. So let me scroll down here to my sliders, and I'll just leave that as My Slider 1 because it doesn't conflict with any of my other names. And now when I go to my System Symbols and go down to Sliders, if I hit Sliders, you can see that My Slider 1 is now part of my system symbols. Now, this is really just a view of the folders that are in the InduSoft Web Studio install directory, install folder, under the symbols folder. And those, each one of these symbols are just an individual file out there. So you could copy those and share those with your coworkers, share libraries of symbols and put those on your server, let's say. And that's certainly ways to work with that. So those are some different things about symbols and how to create your own. And maybe using Photoshop or CorelDRAW or some other third-party tool. GIMP is a free one that's out there. GIMP.org is another one that you can create some objects with. It's a nice 3D look and feel, and create your own. Hopefully this was of value to you, and please let us know your feedback, and thank you for your time. For more information about InduSoft Web Studio, please contact us via any of the methods shown on the slide above.